Can you feel it, Niner faithful? That gnawing frustration, that restless anticipation, as we stare down another season shrouded in uncertainty, especially when it comes to the very players meant to ignite our offense. We're talking about the wide receiver room, a position group that, despite all the talent elsewhere on this roster, feels like a constant question mark. As training camp heats up and the first preseason clash against the Denver Broncos looms this Saturday, the air is thick with whispers and speculation. Could the San Francisco 49ers, a team with Super Bowl aspirations, be on the verge of a blockbuster trade to finally solidify their receiving core? Or will they stand pat, trusting in a group that has, at times, felt more like a revolving door than a reliable unit? Let's peel back the layers of this intriguing situation and uncover what's truly at stake for the red and gold. The current state of the 49ers' wide receiver depth chart is, to put it mildly, a muddled picture. The most significant concern revolves around Brandon Aiyuk, whose absence casts a long shadow. He's still rehabbing from a torn ACL and MCL suffered last October, with additional structural damage inside that knee. The optimistic target for his return isn't until the mid-range of the 2025 season, leaving a gaping hole in the immediate future. Then there's Jawan Jennings, a fan favorite known for his clutch third-down catches. Weeks ago, before training camp even began, reports surfaced from Adam Schefter indicating Jennings' desire for a new deal with the stark ultimatum, "Pay me or trade me." While Jennings did report to camp, he promptly re-aggravated a calf injury he sustained in the spring and hasn't practiced since. Is this a genuine setback, or is it a calculated hold-in? A strategic maneuver to avoid injury and protect his future payday, whether from the Niners or another suitor. It's a fascinating, if concerning, subplot. Beyond these two key figures, the depth at wide receiver has been a carousel of fleeting commitments. We've seen a parade of names signed, released, and sometimes re-signed. Equanimous St. Brown, Quintess, Marquez Callaway, Andy Isabella. Robbie Chosen Anderson was brought in, and he too could be on the chopping block any minute now. While some of these moves are a direct response to injuries further down the depth chart, they collectively paint a picture of instability. Even the promising young talents have faced their own hurdles. Jacob Cowing is battling a hamstring issue. Demarcus Robinson faces a potential NFL suspension. Jordan Addison, a rookie, was suspended for the first 3 games of the year due to a DUI and speeding incident. Ricky Pearsall's ability to stay healthy remains a question mark, and Jordan Watkins is still just a rookie finding his footing. This pervasive cloudiness within the wide receiver room begs the question: is it time for the 49ers to make a decisive blockbuster move? The good news for the 49ers, if they choose to pursue such a move, is their substantial financial flexibility. San Francisco currently boasts the third most cap space in the entire NFL, with a hefty $47 million at their disposal. While the Patriots lead the league with $59.8 million, and the Lions have recently edged past the Niners at $47.8 million, the gap between San Francisco and the Arizona Cardinals at $35.4 million and the Las Vegas Raiders at $34.8 million is significant. Of course, the traditional strategy for many teams is to roll over unused cap space into the following year, and the 49ers have also been eating over $80 million for players no longer on their roster, indicating a degree of salary cap and roster reset this offseason. However, if San Francisco truly believes this is their year, if they see a legitimate Super Bowl window wide open before them, why wouldn't they leverage this financial power to upgrade their football team? This isn't a rebuilding squad. The 49ers have invested heavily in their core, paying Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Fred Warner, extending Christian McCaffrey, and restructuring Trent Williams' deal. Nick Bosa and Diamador Lenore are also on expensive contracts. This is a talented, expensive team built to win now, and they also happen to have the easiest schedule in the entire NFL. The NFC West is wide open, and if injury luck, which has often eluded them in the Kyle Shanahan era outside of 2023, is finally on their side, they have a legitimate shot. While depth remains a concern, a dynamic wide receiver could be the ultimate insurance policy, elevating the entire offense and the position group itself. Consider Brock Purdy, a quarterback whose deep ball prowess is often underrated. He possesses the arm talent to chuck it downfield with accuracy. Yet, a significant issue for the Niners last year was their wide receivers' inability to consistently gain separation. This wasn't due to Purdy's hesitancy. In fact, as part of Kyle Shanahan's play-calling philosophy and his trust in Purdy, the young quarterback threw the third fewest passes at or behind the line of scrimmage in the entire NFL at a mere 14.3%. For comparison, Jalen Hurts was at 17.5% and Joe Flacco at 14.9%. Purdy likes to be aggressive, pushing the ball downfield. He processes information exceptionally well, throwing with touch, timing, and anticipation, layering balls into tight windows as effectively as anyone in the league. You know what would truly unlock that potential and make him even more dangerous? A bona fide number one wideout. The 49ers don't currently have that consistent elite separator. Imagine the impact a receiver with a proven track record of going deep could have on an offense already designed to push the ball vertically. This isn't just about adding talent. It's about maximizing Purdy's final year on his incredibly affordable rookie deal, capitalizing on this current Super Bowl window before his inevitable massive contract extension. This brings us to two superstar-level wide receivers, both of whom have demonstrated throughout their careers an exceptional ability to stretch the field and create explosive plays. Terry McLaurin of the Commanders and Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. Intriguingly, both players are reportedly unhappy with their current teams. McLaurin is seeking a new deal, while Tyreek Hill appears to be growing weary of the Mike McDaniel experiment in Miami. Let's first delve into the situation with Terry McLaurin. He wants a significant pay raise, and frankly, he's earned it. He has been a remarkably steady and productive wide receiver for Washington, consistently delivering 5 straight years of over 1,000 receiving yards. This consistency is even more impressive considering the sheer dysfunction that plagued the Commanders organization for the bulk of his career. Last year, he became Jaden Daniels' go-to target, hauling in 13 touchdowns. Now, entering the final year of his deal, he has clearly earned a substantial pay bump, yet the Commanders have not provided it. McLaurin is no longer among the top 10 highest-paid wide receivers in the league, and he reportedly wants elements of the DK Metcalf contract in his own deal, which would place him near Metcalf's $33 million per year. Matt Barrows of The Athletic, who covers the Niners with great insight, recently shared a fascinating perspective on an Aiyuk for McLaurin trade. He suggested it's not so far-fetched, given that this exact scenario was discussed a year ago. At that time, Aiyuk had the Commanders at the top of his preferred trade destinations due to his relationship and admiration for Jaden Daniels. The 49ers likely would have agreed if McLaurin was part of the trade package, but Washington refused to part with their star receiver. A year later, with McLaurin now causing a stir and feeling undervalued, would they reconsider? While Aiyuk is recovering from his October ACL tear and isn't expected to be ready for the start of the year, he is also 2.5 years younger than McLaurin and has strong ties throughout Washington's headquarters, including with GM Adam Peters, who drafted him as the 49ers' top college scout, and his close friend Deebo Samuel. Barrows posed the question, lengthy contract battles leave bridges burning. Wouldn't both players be happier where there's no smoke? While a fascinating concept, a trade for McLaurin seems unlikely given Aiyuk's knee injury, plus the fact that the Niners would likely have to pay McLaurin more than Aiyuk despite McLaurin being older. Still, he's been an exceptional player since being drafted in the 3rd round out of Ohio State in 2019, even logging over 900 yards as a rookie before his 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. From Washington's perspective, trading McLaurin makes little sense. They are in a Super Bowl window with a quarterback on a rookie contract, and they simply aren't a contender without him. Then there's Tyreek Hill, a player whose electrifying talent is matched only by his sometimes challenging personality. It increasingly appears as though he has worn out his welcome in Miami, with patience for head coach Mike McDaniel reportedly growing thin. There was a recent situation where the two butted heads, and Hill spoke to the media, revealing details McDaniel preferred to keep private. This isn't a new pattern for Hill. It's precisely why Andy Reid and the Chiefs ultimately parted ways with him. As a personality, he can be difficult to manage. But what you absolutely cannot deny is his status as one of the most electric, exciting, and explosive wide receivers in the history of the National Football League. He's called the Cheetah for a reason. He moves at a different speed, consistently gets behind defenses, and is a threat to score a touchdown at any given moment. His numbers since joining Miami are staggering, made even more impressive by the inconsistent quarterback play he's endured, sometimes catching passes from Skylar Thompson. In 2022, he had 119 catches for 1,700 yards, averaging 14.4 yards per catch with 7 touchdowns. In 2023, he again had 119 catches for nearly 1,800 yards, averaging 15.1 yards per catch with 13 touchdowns. Even last year, with Tua Tagovailoa missing significant time, Hill still managed 81 catches for 959 yards and 6 touchdowns. A move for Hill would undeniably signal an all-in strategy for the Niners, a strategy one personally am not against. In a trade scenario, Hill might even be more affordable than McLaurin, simply because the Dolphins seem eager to move on from him and reset their locker room culture, as evidenced by their willingness to part with unhappy players like Jalen Ramsey. Getting rid of a wide receiver who clearly doesn't like or respect the head coach could be a priority for Miami. However, there's a compelling counterargument to making a splashy trade. The 49ers might prefer to let their promising, young wide receivers develop. Ricky Pearsall, for instance, has been one of the standout players throughout training camp. Jacob Cowing, with his blazing 4.4 speed, had an excellent spring before his hamstring injury. Jordan Watkins, boasting 4.3 speed, has also shown flashes of potential during camp. They've also signed Demarcus Robinson, who has performed well throughout the spring and summer, and Russell Gage has had a very strong training camp. It's entirely possible that the 49ers believe they can cultivate an effective wide receiver room from within without having to commit $30 million or more per year to a veteran superstar. This path would preserve cap space for future extensions and allow their draft investments to mature. Ultimately, the Niners might rather do that than trade for one of these high-priced, high-profile players. So, Niner faithful, we stand at a crossroads. Does the precarious state of the wide receiver room, coupled with Brock Purdy's untapped deep ball potential and the team's Super Bowl aspirations, demand a bold, all-in trade for a game-changing talent like Terry McLaurin or Tyreek Hill? Or is the smarter, more sustainable play to trust the development of promising young receivers and the existing talent on this already loaded roster? The decision could very well define the 49ers season and their Super Bowl destiny. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Should the San Francisco 49ers make a trade for a wideout? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section. Type T for trade or P for pass. Your voice matters, so make sure it's heard. And if you want more exclusive insights and dynamic reports like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep this conversation going.